You know how we talk about double standards a lot, right? And usually, the cliche one is, look, a man in the office that is confident and is a leader, that's a good thing. But if a woman does the same thing, she's considered a B, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it was Abby this morning that said that she's on TikTok, and there's this whole thread now of dudes that are like digging in and sticking up for themselves, right?
Oh, yeah, the incel side of TikTok, but I was just keeping it light with them calling me out for not having hobbies. This sounds like we're about to talk more about double standards, which I could really go off of.
All right, so this is a dude saying the double standards go both ways. See what you guys think of this.
It still boggles my mind. If a girl wants a guy who's older, it's a preference. If a guy wants a girl who's younger, it's creepy and immature. If a girl doesn't want to date a short guy, it's a preference. If a guy doesn't want to date a girl that's overweight, he's an who's not focused on the things that matter. If a girl wants a guy who can take charge, it's a preference. If a guy wants a girl who will submit to his lead, he's, you guessed it, misogynistic. If a girl sets a boundary, it's empowering. If a guy sets a boundary, it's controlling. Women have preferences, men have something wrong with them. This isn't a double standard, it's just illogical. So why does anyone accept this?
But they're not the same thing.
You guys
ding,
fight.
Ding, ding, ding.
I want to see you guys fight.
But it's like if you want a guy to be assertive, but then that means the man should also want a woman to be assertive. Like he was literally doing the opposites, and therefore it's not the same thing. Like if a woman wanted a man to be submissive, that's one thing.
Yes.
Like they both have to be submissive. It's like it's okay for you to want somebody to be assertive, but it's not okay for you to want somebody to be submissive. Yeah, because those are two opposite things.
Okay, that might be one. How about the other stuff he said?
Okay, fine. How about if a guy wants a younger girl, it's creepy, and if a girl wants an older man, it's not. Hello, that one writes itself. And we're not talking about we're not talking about like a 40-year-old dating like a 30-year-old or something like that. We're talking about like 30s or even late 20s hitting up 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds.
That's nasty.
Yeah, it leaves an ick in your mouth. So like if a 19-year-old is like, I want to date a 25-year-old, well, that's what you want to date an older dude. But being an adult and looking at an 18-year-old, I recognize that you're an adult, but in terms of my age, you're a child. And to be attracted to a child is gross. Not the same thing.
The double standard would be if it's okay for a woman to want to date a married man, but it's not okay for a man to want to date an older woman.
In that example, though, I do think that it is received a little better when a woman wants to date a younger man. Like a perfect example is when Jada Pinkett was dating her daughter or her son's best friend in August Alsina.
It wasn't dating. They were in an entanglement.
Okay. He was a child, and she didn't really get a lot of slack for that. And I feel like if a guy had done that with a younger woman that was a friend of his child, he would have got raked through the coals.
That would be a double standard.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree with you 100% there. I think it's creepy if grown women want to date like 18, 19-year-olds like that. But that would be the comparison. It would be, it's not okay for a guy to date a child or a 19-year-old, but it's okay for a woman to date a 19-year-old. That's a double standard. Not saying a guy can't date young, but a girl can date older.
They're not the same
They're not
thing.
equitable.
What do you think?
Yeah, and the statement about him saying if a guy sets a boundary, it's controlling tells me everything I need to know about this guy, because there's a difference between setting a boundary and being controlling, and that's the kind of language that feels very gaslighty to me. Like, oh, I'm not trying to control you. I'm just setting a boundary, because there is a clear difference between setting an expectation and what you're looking for rather than actually trying to control somebody.
I agree with you. I really do agree with you. I listened to it and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be a good fight.
He didn't do a good job.
He didn't do a great job.
No.
The Bert Show.